Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of building Dr. Frinks flying machines. This episode is quite support heavy in the sense that I get like all the supports done basically, so all the supports are finished up. You can see I'm adding them in here in this part of the time lapse. So the first half of this time lapse is mostly just support work. It's just getting all the supports built and done, because it's one of those things that supporting isn't my favourite thing to do. It's a little bit it's like a little bit tedious sometimes. Sometimes building like interesting support structures can be quite fun, but when you're building like just like, the same support over and over pretty much, same sort of just like the simple like column supports, they do get a little bit tedious to place. But I get it done. I just wanted to get it all done, so it was out of the way with really pretty much, which is what happens in this episode. In terms of also, like the roller coaster details, in terms of like brakes and the storage area and things like that, none of that is done yet. I need to add the brakes. I want to model some custom brakes and stuff to fit with the new trains, so that all still needs to be done and will come in like a further episode. But yeah, so this first part is mostly based on supports, like I keep saying, and then in the second part of the time lapse we go on to add like a flat ride. I think I mentioned in the first episode or somewhere near the beginning of this series that I wanted to add a flat ride into the area to make the area seem more like a theme park area than just a singular roller coaster. So yeah, I do like a power plant themed drop tower, which you will see in the second part of the time lapse. So yeah, thank you very much guys for watching this one. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back at the end of the episode to talk about what we got built. So for those of you that may not have watched my Planet Coaster video I uploaded yesterday, I've decided to do something new during the time lapses. We're going to see how it goes. I'm just going to talk like about something quite unrelated, but just hopefully something that's interesting to people. In terms of, like, obviously to do with roller coasters and theme parks and things like that. So for this one I want to talk about my trip to Portaventura in April. We went in April, I can't remember actually what day it was in April. It was near the beginning of April anyway. In terms of the actual, like, so we flew to Barcelona, and then we got the train from Barcelona to Salou. It should have been a relatively simple journey, however our plane came in a little bit later than it should have, so it was supposed to come in a little bit earlier, and so we didn't get to Barcelona Sands till 10 past 11, and the train to Salou came in at 11, which meant we had to wait 2 hours for the next train. So the next train wasn't until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which was a little bit annoying, so it meant we had to kill a lot of time. We were wasting one of our days at Portaventura basically. So the day we arrived, we were supposed to, like, we'd planned to spend at Portaventura, and then also the next day we planned to spend at Portaventura. So unfortunately we missed that day, and annoyingly as well, which was probably like one of the most annoying things really, whilst we were waiting for the train at Barcelona Sands, Hannah, my girlfriend who was with me on the trip, she got her bag nicked, which contained our passports, or stolen, or that was a whole other thing, which was a nightmare, but I won't go into that in this report. I'll just talk about Portaventura itself. So yeah, by the time we did get to Salou, we got checked into our hotel. We stayed in the Wild West theme one. I can't remember what it was called. It was quite cool. In terms of like the actual scenery, like the theming of the hotel was pretty cool. The only thing I would say was the food and stuff there wasn't good. There wasn't much food selection. It just wasn't, and the food was awful, especially for the price you pay. And I found that across the whole park really, just the food wasn't great. So that was one of my like criticisms of Portaventura. But yeah, so our first day we ended up getting into the theme park at about 5 o'clock in the evening, Portaventura, which was just, it was a bit of a nightmare because we planned to spend like most of the day there that day, so if you make the most of the park. Unfortunately that wasn't going to be the case, so we got there at 5 o'clock in the evening on the Sunday evening, so we spent Sunday and Monday at Portaventura in the parks. Sunday evening, so we got in there at 5 o'clock, we went straight to Shambhala. Actually no, before we went to Shambhala, so we came in through the hotel entrance, you had to walk around the park, and we had to, we're entitled to the access passes for rides. So we used the access, we used the access pass. So it means you can either, I think for Portaventura you either use the fast lane or the exit, depending on the ride. So yeah, we went and picked that up. That was pretty easy. That we didn't have any problems picking that up. Sometimes like customer service can be a little bit iffy on like whether they feel like they should give you the access pass or not. And I thought there would be problems at Portaventura, but actually there wasn't. That was quite easy. So we managed to pick up our access pass. On the Sunday evening, we were obviously only had 2 hours in the park. We didn't really want to rush it either. We wanted to take our time, we wanted to get our bearings basically. So we weren't going in just to get on loads of rides. We thought we're going to get on a couple of rides obviously. But yeah, so we the first thing we did, so the customer service area was right at the front of the park. So we got on right near the front of the park was always Furious Bacco. So we took a ride on Furious Bacco, and this was the only ride I did on Furious Bacco throughout the whole trip. Mostly because with the exit pass or the access pass or whatever you want to call it, you're put straight onto the back row of rides. So obviously Furious Bacco at the back, I'd been told it was going to be really, really rattly, and of course it was. It was extremely rattly. It would have been like a really good ride. The launch was really cool. It's just the rattle on that thing is just insane. I just don't understand. Like I just couldn't believe it really, and it just shakes you around. Made me feel a bit ill, unfortunately. So yeah, that like Furious Bacco, I still like. I would have liked to reread it, but at the same time, it just wasn't worth ruining my day and being really sick the next day. But yeah, so after Furious Bacco, then we went straight over to Shambhala. Then this was going to be our last ride of the evening because we were running out of time. Like I said, we were taking it quite slow. So we went to Shambhala. I got our first ride on that, and that one actually we just went in the normal queue. We got put in the because the queues are really short on a Sunday evening. We got put in the nearer to the front. And yeah, that was Shambhala was again was a bit overhyped in my mind. Like after coming off it, I thought it felt like it was a bit overhyped. It wasn't as good as I'd hoped it was going to be. But yeah, it was alright. It was a good ride still. It was worth going still for like to go ride it. The one thing I would say is I didn't really like the ampersand, the big like ampersand figure element, the sort of turnaround in the middle of the ride. I just didn't think, for me, it didn't really do much. I thought like just a simple turnaround would probably been better. But yeah, so that was Shambhala. So yeah, the second day, we got up about 10. No, actually, no, sorry, we got up at 8. Got our buffet breakfast. So we were all like readying like for the park opening. We went to Ferroland first, so we got there for 10:30 actually. Ferroland. And obviously the first ride we went on was Red Force. That was awesome. That was a great ride. Cool launch. I sort of like the station theming. It's like set up to be like a pit lane. I like the viewing platform that gives you to like watch the launch and stuff. It's really cool. Yeah, so that was a really cool ride. Like I said, the launch was good. The lap bars were really cool. Just having the lap bars made the ride like 10 times better. So that was Red Force. After Red Force, we then went to the Flying Theatre inside of they've got like 2 dark rides. We didn't do the other one because it didn't interest me at all. But the Flying Theatre was really cool. Though I would say like the immersion of the Flying Theatre was kind of broken by this like black. So you could sort of see it because we were at the top. So we were on the top row of the thing that lifts up. If you don't know how a Flying Theatre works, it's just rows of seats that sort of like lift up and then like overlook a screen. And the immersion was kind of broken because the screen didn't cover like the whole room. So like if you looked up just a little bit, suddenly there was just a big black space where like the screen obviously ended, which was a bit annoying. But other than that, like the smells and stuff were in there were quite cool. Like flying behind a car and following it was pretty cool. So yeah, that was quite cool. Then we did the drop towers. We only did the one that like pulls you up slowly and then pushes you down. Those rides seem a bit like irrelevant and like unneeded really because you have Hurricane Condor next door. And they're just like a worse version of it and smaller, and you know they're just a little bit pointless in my mind. And also in Ferroland, we also got lunch. Before we got lunch, we did the little cars that go around, which I actually thought were quite cool, like the Autopia style cars. They were quite fun. I thought they were quite like set out quite well. It was quite cool. You got to drive yourself. They picked up like a decent amount of speed. So we got on those, and that was quite cool just to like sort of drive around and just get like a view, especially like some of the views it gave of Red Force. Was definitely worthwhile. So we re-rode a couple of things. We did Red Force a couple of times. I think, and we actually did the cars twice. We were in Ferroland until about 12:30, so we spent 2.5 hours in there. A good 2.5 hours in there. We got lunch in there as well, which was again wasn't that great. It was quite overpriced, and we had to wait a while, even though there was only like 4 or 5 people in the lunch place, so that wasn't great. And then like just looking around Ferroland, obviously there's not loads there, but we had a little look around, and that was cool. And so yeah, after Ferroland, we moved over to Portaventura. So the first thing we did in Portaventura, we sort of, as you go in, we turn left into like the Wild West themed area, and so we did the rapids and the log flume first, which were really cool. The rapids I thought were really good. I thought they were really well themed. I liked all the rock work and stuff. So the rapids were really good. The log flume was cool. Like, had a really big drop, had like a lot going for it. It wasn't very themed, but the actual like the flume and stuff itself didn't get you loads like really wet, and it was just like the drops were fun, and there was quite a few. I think there was 4 drops on that one. But yeah, so that was that really. And then we moved on to Stampeder. We only did the blue side. I would have liked to have done both, but Hannah really hated it, and I wasn't going to go ride it myself. So I only did the blue side. They were only loading like half the train. They weren't loading the back half of it, which was weird. But yeah, the problem with that ride is like I think people have said it before, that the layout is quite good. Like it's like got a really interesting layout, and it probably would be good. It's just the trains ruin it. They're so uncomfy. You bash around in them, you hurt yourself, and it's just, yeah, it doesn't make for an amazing ride really. But yeah, if they sorted out those trains and changed them, then that would be probably like a bit of a bonus and probably would help it. But I doubt they ever will. Then moving on from that, we went on Tomahawk, a great little GCI family coaster. I think it's GCI. Well, it's got the GCI trains at least. They're quite small, so it's a bit of a squeeze in there. But yeah, we enjoyed that. It was a good family coaster. It was good for what it is. And then moving on from that, we did El Diablo, which was just as I expected. Not very good. A lot of lift hills. Didn't go very fast. Didn't do much. So yeah, that wasn't really much to write home about. And then we did Hurricane Condor, which I didn't think we'd get to do because Hannah was terrified of going on it. But she finally sort of caved in and let me go on it with her, and that was great. We had to do the sit down. To be fair, I didn't even realise I had to stand up until after I came back. But yeah, we got put on the sit down section. That was good. Yeah, that was a good ride. Just big, dragged up that high and dropping from that sort of height is just really cool. It was a really cool experience. Moving on from that, we then headed off to I think Shambhala next. Because the Temple De Fuego was closed. I'm not sure if that's closed permanently, but yeah, it wasn't open. I'm not even sure what's in there. I'm not sure if it's like a dark ride or a show or whatever. But we didn't do any of the shows. Me and Hannah aren't really interested in that, and especially because we only had one day there now, or even half a day since we got there at 12:30. It was just like to rush around and get on everything really. And also everything was on one train as well, which didn't really affect us obviously because of the access pass. But yeah, I could imagine it would be very annoying if you were there because it was a pretty quiet day anyway. But just the roller coasters all had one train, so the queues were like 30, 40, 50 minutes. So yeah, that was, and then where they should be about 10, 15. So yeah, it was quite crazy that really. Like I said, it didn't really affect us though. But yeah, so we went on Shambhala next again. We got a back row ride this time from using our access pass, and that was really cool. The back road ride obviously was a lot better. Going down the first drop was so fun. I managed to get my restraint quite loose as well. They weren't stapling or anything like that, so there's a lot of breathing room there. And yeah, so it's quite funny. It was funny because it was just like a really good ride in the sense that just that first drop really. And then unfortunately, just after that, the ride made me feel a little bit sick. I've never really experienced that on a B&M Hyper, and the layout didn't do loads for me. But just I think the first drop was just like the highlight of that ride really, especially on the back row. And then moving on from that, we did Dragon Khan. That was alright. B&M loopers don't really do much for me. I mean, I've been on Goomba, I've been on Hulk, I've been on Dragon Khan now obviously, I've been on Kraken, I've been on Scream, I've been on a couple, and they don't do much for me. I mean, like if they're there, obviously I'll do them, but I don't need to rewrite them. I know what they do. I know how they're going to be when I go on them. They're not something that I would choose to like. If I saw that a park had a big B&M looper, I wouldn't really like go out of my way to visit that park. But yeah, it was alright. It was good for what it was. It hurt Anna's ears. She stupidly left her earrings in, so yeah, she didn't enjoy it that much. Moving on from that, we went on to Ankle, I think it's called, the splash battle. That was cool. It was a bit weird. There was no one else on it because it was quite quiet. And so the whole water shooting aspect didn't really work for us because obviously there was no one else on it. But it was quite cool just to go around. It was just quite scenic and quite nice to go around. And then after that, I think we did Sesamo Adventure, the new dark ride, the shooting trackless dark ride they have there. That was quite cool. I didn't really know what to expect. I hadn't really heard anything about it. The shooting thing was a bit weird. It didn't work too well, but the animatronics and the screens were quite good. It was all in Spanish from what I could tell, so I didn't really understand what was going on. But it was something about the Cookie Monster and trying to find the cookies. I can't really remember, to be honest. One thing that was weird about it was it only had one loading platform, and normally with those trackless dark ride systems you can load about 3 cars at once. So to only have one loading platform meant the queues were an hour 20 minutes, an hour 30 minutes. It was just ridiculous really. They shouldn't be that long. The ride should have been designed to handle the queues better really. But yeah, again, that wasn't something we had to worry about too much, only because luckily we had the access pass. But yeah, and then after Sesamo Adventure we took on a ride on Shambhala, and I think that was it for the day. I think we ended the day on Shambhala. We had to get somewhere afterwards. We had to go find another hotel in Salou we were staying in, and yeah, and then obviously on top of that we had all the stress of our passports and stuff. But it was quite a good distraction from that really, Port Ventura. We were very stressed coming into the park and worried about how we were going to get home and things like that. But it was quite nice just to sort of be distracted from that and just enjoy a day at a theme park with little to no stress. So yeah, that was my day at Port Ventura. I hope you enjoyed hearing about it. I know I could have probably gone into more depth, but I didn't have a lot of time, and this time lapse is quite short. But yeah, so thank you very much for listening, guys, and we'll turn back into like the normal video now. Now that the time-lapse portion of the video is finished, let's go around and have a look at what we got done in this episode. So obviously, like I said, we finished off the supports, they're all done. Because of that, the ride is looking a lot more complete. Like I said, there is still a lot of details to do, so I need to add like all the brakes and stuff obviously along these parts. And like the drop track details and stuff. Obviously the whole station is like a whole separate thing almost. Which will get started soon, and there's just a little bit more like build up obviously towards the station that I need to get done, and like some other details and stuff. But yeah, we're getting towards the station and the queue line and stuff, which should be fully detailed. So yeah, obviously like I said, we've got the supports all done, they're all done. You can see like the ride looks pretty complete in that sense. And then obviously the second part, which was probably the main part of the episode, was the drop ride that we added. The actually it's quite a small drop ride. It's only 100 foot tall, but I sort of wanted it to be small because I wanted the top hat to be taller. I wanted the top hat to be the main feature of the area, whilst the drop tower was just supposed to be like a sort of just, you know, an add-on ride really, just to sort of supplement the area a little bit. So yeah, in terms of the entrance, there's not much at the moment. I copied the sign, I stole the sign from Cedar Point for their power tower ride, their SNS drop tower. So what I've done is just like change the colours of it to make it look like more like electricity sort of colours. It's okay. It's like I said, it's only sort of filler really. I need to add like a ride. This is going to be like a ride restriction board here, and then I need to add like a queue time board and just like fill up the entrance area a little bit more, so it's more like an entrance. And then obviously you've got like the whole like power plant sort of thing going on. So like this, like the drop tower is like a big cooling tower, or like a chimney rather. And yeah, so that's sort of the theme for the drop tower. Then obviously you've got like the tanks and stuff, just like filling out, like just making it look like a power plant. I then decided that I wasn't going to add buildings here now, just because one, for like time constraints, it's not really needed, and two, because like it sort of ruins the view of the power plant. So I think it's better just to have that area sort of empty. And then obviously at the back of it, sorry, I was going to mention, you actually crash through the power plant. I might change that a little bit just to make it look a little bit more better, because it looks a bit weird, but yeah, I think that's quite a cool feature. And then inside the power plant, it's actually completely unfinished at the moment. I'm going to do like an inside sort of theme and stuff to make it look better inside. At the moment it's just a big black room, but I want to do something with that to make the inside of like it look like a proper sort of drop tower loading area, and you know, just to make it themed and stuff, because it doesn't look very good at the moment just being a big black room. But yeah, so that was sort of it for this episode. Yeah, it was just literally getting this this flat ride added in. Like I said, we're going to continue up this way, build the paths going along here, and heading towards the station where you'll get on and off the ride obviously. And then we need to obviously do like the drop track details and all the pre-shows and like the queue line theming and stuff like that. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was quite a short one. But yeah, we got like, it was a short one, but I got like some really important parts done, like adding the flat ride like I said, and obviously doing all the supports is quite an important part. So yeah, thank you very much guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again very soon on my next video.